Hi everyone, my name is Isla Monical. I am the creator of You Know Me, Not My Story, and the new series You Know Them, Not Their Story. Today's episode, we will have a very special guest. Her name is Casey Gibson. She resides in North Carolina, just like me, and she is also the creator and host of the Crowning Moment podcast.
Hello.
Hi!
How are you?
Do you hear those dogs in the background?
No, I can't hear anything.
Well, that's probably good. I mean, they're barking like crazy. Anyways, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Well, first question,
Perfect.
tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Casey Gibson. I'm 24 years old. I currently live in the Raleigh-Durham area. I'm actually a data analyst for Lockheed Martin, which is a lot of government Department of Defense work. And I also have the Karate Moment podcast, and I'm a national title holder for America's United States.
That's awesome. So, since this is called You Know Them, Not Their Story, what is your story?
Well, we'll go all the way back to when I was 5 years old. I started competing in pageants because my mom was afraid that my siblings and I would be scared to speak on stage or be afraid of speaking to adults. And that was her, like, absolute no. She was not going to let us do that. So starting into pageantry, I competed in various systems from Miss America to Miss USA. My teen year at Miss USA is when I realized, the seriousness behind pageantry, and I actually fell into an eating disorder preparing for the teen competition. That's when the Teen USA system had swimsuit. And so I learned at a very young age how important your mental health is, but as well as your physical health. And so going through pageantry after that, now being 24 years old and having multiple national titles, I really learned more through the process of what am I getting out of pageantry that I would get nowhere else? And that's interview skills, people skills, the skill to go on stage and not be scared to speak to an audience of people. This past week, I actually got to compete at Miss Global USA due to the fact of winning Miss America's United States. It was a part of my prize package. And if you listen to my onstage question, you can hear I am very quick to talk to an audience like I'm speaking at a panel rather than, having that fear of like, oh, I don't know how to answer a question. So really, my story is the things I've learned through pageantry, I have been able to take them and adapt them to my everyday life. And now that I've decided to no longer be a competitor in pageantry, it's now taking those skills and putting them into a business, as in creating a Crowning Moment podcast and moving into the production side of pageantry, where I now can take all the skills and all the people I've met and networked with over the years into my new endeavors into the production side.
That's great. And I heard that Global USA was your last pageant, right?
Yes, that was my very last pageant, and I can say I'm at peace with my pageant journey. About a year ago, I was starting to get to that point where I'm like, I want to move on with life. I want to get married and, have kids and kind of start that. I know I'm only 24, but I feel like I've had to be an adult since the age of 16 of just learning how to, maneuver my way. I have multiple jobs at all times. I love side hustles, so I've been an adult from a very young age. So I think it was time for me to no longer be a competitor.
So, why do you think these things happen to girls and women today? You know, the eating disorders, getting self-conscious about your body.
I definitely think it's just the pressure, especially being 16 years old, or I was like 15, 16 at the time, knowing that I would have more than 2,000 people staring at me on stage in a swimsuit. That's pressure. And even just in a
Right.
fitness wear outfit. Yes. And you don't really get prepared for those things. There's not really a coaching and pageantry behind that. It's more of a here's how you're going to walk, here's what your swimsuit's going to look like, and then you have to venture out to find that fitness trainer. I was a cheerleader, I was an all around athlete when I was in high school and middle school. So I thought preparing through practice and stuff would prepare me for the pageantry stage. But then I just had this unrealistic expectation of, what I thought a pageant girl should look like back then to now versus what it looks like now. That's anyone. Every size, every color, every different body shape is very acceptable. But back then, everybody was so used to almost like the skinny Barbie doll, and that's not what it is nowadays. So I think that it was just the peer pressure of just knowing that I had to be in front of so many people. But now it's the unrealistic expectation that you have to withhold seeing people on social media or on TikTok. And I've had to check myself even now at 24 years old. There was one lady I've been following for years, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how does she stay so thin? To come to realize that she's on medication. And I had to sit back and think to myself, like, you're doing great. This is about you, only care about you. So when you start looking inward and making sure that you're keeping yourself in check and making sure you're healthy, that's really what's going to help change that going forward is you got to do that inner work before you can, show who you are outward to others.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I love that we have plus size representation everywhere in every system. Just recently, we had, I want to say her name is Brienne. I'm going to say she's in the Miss New Hampshire system, and she's a transgender plus size candidate that just
Yes.
recently won a local title. And I was thrilled because I'm so excited to see this new Miss America 3.0 and just a whole different inclusivity that we have in the system nowadays. I'm very happy with the progression that Miss America has made now.
Absolutely. And another person to touch on as well is Emma Loney, who she was in the Earth USA system where she ultimately placed as Eco, which is like the top five elements. You have like Miss Earth, you have fire, earth, wind, air, all of those. And so she went Eco in that. So she's also a plus size pageant model and she's phenomenal and such a good person, inspiring person to follow on social media as well as I had interviewed with her. So it was really nice getting able to meet her and see her representing, herself and her true authentic self in pageantry.
It's really truly inspiring, and I absolutely love it. And it makes me feel so much better about my body because I'm looking at someone who is not afraid to be themselves and not afraid of, how big or small their body is. They love themselves no matter what. And it makes me want to cry. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy that we're seeing it now.
Absolutely.
But how have you made a difference within the pageant world?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was when I realized I did that inner work and I started using my voice to tell others through my podcast. So I was going through a time where I just kept getting first runner up and first runner up, and I was frustrated. And at that point, I was ready to be done. I was ready to quit. And my parents did not raise a quitter. So I knew from there I wanted to know why people compete in pageantry. If you lose, why do you come back? What is your why behind it? Because I didn't know mine. So being able to talk to people in 68 different countries all over the world using my voice, just reaching out to those is making a difference in women and men's lives all over the world. Being my unfiltered self, I have a new series on the podcast where I talk about the true things that happen in pageantry. We're not talking about negative pageantry. We're talking about positive pageantry, but on the sides of I'm being real and raw with you, and that's how I've made a difference in so many people's life. Being able to just tell them, things I'm struggling with or going through, and they can relate. That is such a big word nowadays that people, enjoy saying is being relatable, but that's truly, if you can be relatable, you can really change the world in many different ways.
Of course. And I know when I was 13, 14, I'm 15 now. When I was 13 to 14, I did my first season through Miss America prelims. And I did one my first season, did not place. And I was so adamant, like, I have to keep doing this. So in the next one, I did three, didn't place at all. Didn't place. So this one, I am hoping to just completely reinvent myself. I've gotten a new wardrobe. My friends have seen all about it. I mean, I keep annoying them with it, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I've completely reinvented myself and I can't wait to see what this new season has. And it's all about keep going. Keep going no matter what.
Yep.
And I absolutely love that you said that.
And even with times of not winning and still pushing yourself, that's amazing because you learn more from when you don't win than when you actually win. Because once you won, you're like, okay, great. So what's next? How do I grow from here? And so being able to lose and then learn from those losses, it's going to make you a better person all in all. And I'm super excited. If you need any help this season, you let me know. I'm willing to mock interview, whatever you need. I've got you, bro.
Well, absolutely. My next question, who or what has inspired you to create your podcast?
Oh, I going off that loss learning era, I definitely had that, but it was more of a who didn't inspire me that really made the podcast happen. When I brought the idea to friends and family, they're like, one, why? Why would you want to do that? Is that really going to do anything for you? Will it make you money? Like, it was all about these different variables that in my brain, I'm like, I feel like I just was led to do this. I had this weird voice. I was driving one day that told me in my head, I don't know if it was God or who it was, said, you really just need to do this. Just use your voice for the greater good. And I did that. And it was more of a who didn't tell me to do it is what really inspired me and pushed me like, okay, I'm going to show everyone around me that this can be successful, even if it's just an idea. I just stuck to it, and here I am 2 years later speaking to Miss USA, Miss Universe, Miss America. And this past year, I actually got to speak at the Empire Academy at Miss America, which has a bunch of the teen candidates as well as some of the princesses from all over the US that come to represent their big sister or their Miss America candidate.
I absolutely love that. I think I said this before. I recorded it a little bit. I was like, she's kind of a pageant celebrity to me, and I'm just really nervous. But no, I
Oh my goodness.
feel so comfortable around you. You just have an amazing energy, and I mean, I love your story. I love what you said about, some people may not have believed in the podcast, but you made it anyway because you felt it was compelling to you and you felt that you had to do it and taking the initiative to do it and just putting your time and your effort in making it and it being so successful that you have been talking to Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Universe herself. I mean, it's amazing.
That's the thing is, if you put it out there on all the platforms, on YouTube, Instagram, take those, snippets of these videos, these questions, take them question by question, post them on social media, use some hashtags. You never know where social media can take your content.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's it. This was very quick. This is amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, and I really wish you the best in all of your season of pageantry. Definitely keep me updated. I will be out here supporting you. If you're anywhere in the area, I'd love to come watch your prelim as well. So, really wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye.